Alright, so I grabbed Dragon's Dogma 2, and I'll be honest, I had no idea what to expect going in because I never played the first one, and the only thing I knew about it was that it had a lot of cut content due to funding, and that it had a cult following. I have wanted to play this game for a while, but with the performance issues and other games I had going on at the time, I just decided to put it on the backlog and wait for a big discount. Also, I don't even really know how to review games, so I'm just gonna kinda walk you through my thoughts as I played it. From the first hour to the 40-hour mark, here's how I felt, and spoiler alert, it was a mixed bag. Also, spoilers. Right off the bat, the first hour didn't impress me. The character creator though, absolutely mind-blowing. Easily the most detailed one I've ever seen. Of course I picked a mage because that's always my go-to class, but then the game felt clunky. The controls didn't sit well with me, and I just remember thinking the fire spell took literally forever to cast. Jumping and climbing onto Medusa was cool, but honestly, I wasn't really feeling it. I felt like I just wasted $40. But you know what? Something shifted. Here's the thing, you start unlocking skills for yourself and your pawn. My main pawn, who's an archer, was pulling off some crazy moves and I was hooked. I decided I wanted to max out the mage class and then switch to sorcerer, hoping that it'd give me more of what I thought the mage would be rather than the support class that it is. At about 10 hours in, I couldn't put it down. There's something about this game that kept pulling me in. It reminded me of Breath of the Wild, you know, getting distracted by mini adventures around every corner. But here's the kicker. Unlike Breath of the Wild, the combat is infinitely better in my opinion. Mage got a lot better once I unlocked more spells, but I still wanted to switch vocations. The pawn system though, it's honestly probably the best AI system I think I've ever played with. My pawns felt like actual companions, and the accidental combos that happened, or maybe not accidental, so satisfying. And you know what? I really enjoyed how weak my character felt. The lack of evasive options, being knocked down, and having to rely on pawns to help me up. It all added to the team dynamic and made me really appreciate my pawns even more. But here's where things got interesting. By the 20-hour mark, I understood the combat now. I think it was just so different from other things I had played, I just had a little hump I had to get over. I switched to an archer for a quest and man, it was a blast. No more focusing on buffs and healing, I was just stunning on enemies left and right. Now it's not all positive. The Melv quest. I spent at least 30 minutes searching that stupid yellow area for nothing, to then thinking it was bugged, only to find out I just had to wait a few days in game. And yeah, it does literally say wait a few days in the game, but while saying that, it's also showing the quest radius on the minimap in yellow, making it feel like it was either bugged or I was missing something. Honestly, it was a little annoying. Still, all in all, the game was just fun. I even like how quests in the world can progress even when you're not around to witness it, but there's one issue that was bugging me with that. The lack of an ox cart for Harv. Traveling on foot or with a fairy stone just to get to a quest that might not be ready yet because there's no indication saying when the few days have been up. That's annoying. Not really a fan of having to walk all the way there just to find out it wasn't ready yet, but also being fearful that I might miss the quest because the game is progressing. That's annoying. At least with Melv, I could ox cart there to quickly check if the quest was ready. So at 25 hours, I'm getting back on track with the main story, finishing up the captain's quest and infiltrating the palace. The main quest, honestly, not my favorite. I switched to the Mystic Knight to become basically Darth Maul, and it felt like I was back at the beginning of the game again. I felt clunky and it took a little while for me to get it, but honestly that's a beautiful part about this game. The different vocations offer such different playstyles, I actually had to go through another miniature learning curve. By 30 hours I hit Batal and just enemies everywhere. It was pure chaos and honestly I kinda loved it. This game made me realize I might replay it just for the combat. And that's saying something, considering there's only like 5 games I think I've ever replayed. But honestly, it quickly got annoying because it literally just felt like non-stop wave after wave of enemies. Then I reached the volcanic island, unlocked the magic archer, and had some fun with that. Also the master skill, or meister skill, however you pronounce it, crazy. But here's where I started to feel a little let down. It didn't feel like there was enough variety in the bosses. I mean, how many times can I fight a griffin or an ogre? And to be fair, the answer is a lot. Combat is so good, it's just so much fun fighting bosses, but I wish there could have been more variety with them. Even the basic enemies, I feel like there was only 4 or 5 types. The difficulty also kind of fell off a cliff. It actually fell off a while ago, but I forgot to mention it then. In the beginning I felt challenged, but now I'm just steamrolling through everything. I have a feeling the game was never really difficult in the first place, it was just me kind of getting used to the combat. Alright, 40 hours in, I'm ready to wrap up the main quest and call it a day. Honestly, I would explore a bit more, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is calling me my name. And I accidentally got spoiled on the unmoored world and the title drop for DD2, and man, it looks sick. I still made my way through the main story, killed Talos, took down the dragon, all that good stuff. I started the unmoored world, but here's the thing, I wish I could explore more. Nothing's really stopping me, but a sense of urgency. I feel rushed since there's the time limit, and I can't just take it all at my own pace, but hey, it fits with the story, so it is what it is. So what's the final verdict? Dragon's Dogma 2 is a great game, don't get me wrong, but the story, not the best in my opinion. I never had a moment that made me truly passionate about the narrative, which is what usually gets me hooked on a game. If there was going to be a moment like that, it definitely would have been the unmoored world and the Dragon's Dogma 2 title drop screen, but the exploring, that was phenomenal. I kept getting sidetracked doing random things. One thing I didn't mention though, I don't think I ever found any unique gears and chests. Everything I got felt like stuff I could have just bought at the shops. But the combat, that's the standout. It's one of the best systems I've ever played, even though I think it's too easy. If they ever add a harder difficulty or DLC, I'll be right back in there. All in all, I had an amazing time with Dragon's Dogma. It wasn't perfect, but it's definitely worth a playthrough. And who knows, if they make a third game, I'm all in. Thanks for watching the review, if you can even call it that. If you played Dragon's Dogma 2, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, especially if you played the original. I want to hear what you loved or hated about the game and what you agree or disagree with me about it. And that's about it. See ya.